We live?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, y'all. How you doing this morning? My name's Jess.
And I'm Reed, and this is another episode of Just Look at It. We are number 15.
Number 5, that's like 2 hands and a foot.
Right. Put up your
so
foot.
Much fun. Right, yeah, no, can't do that.
So we're going to have fun and talk about spiritual or religious abuse because it's fun. It's fun to talk about it because I feel like it's been so many years that I've kind of like processed out of it, including being an evangelical together with my lovely wife, Jess, in Texas and fun places like that. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what keeps you there? Not talking. Talking about things is really where so much freedom comes in, because you've got to get all the ugly out of the closet, and it just has a way of setting you free. And that's kind of the premise of the entire show. Just look at it. Is you have to look at things with logic and reason and go, why do I believe this? Why? And as you do that, you end up finding more and more answers, more and more freedom.
Yes.
And it's powerful.
Thank you for being here. When the world's going crazy and you don't know what to do, just look at it. Said when the world's going crazy and you don't know what to do, just look at it.
Woohoo! You are awesome. And you know what? We are in fact live. It's so yay, it's working. Yeah.
Welcome.
You want to take us somewhere, Reed? Where are we going?
Absolutely. I had no idea, no thought of where I was going to start, which makes it really fun. But the first thing that pops into mind when I think spiritual abuse is honestly the abuse that I experienced when I was really young and when I was older. But starting when I was young, I was sexually assaulted, 4 years old. I was molested. I didn't even know anything else. So when I was sexually assaulted, I was it just shocked me and it changed my world and I almost died. But in that process, I realized that you just can't talk to people.
Right.
There was nobody to talk to.
But the irony to me is that I was also sexually abused starting at 4, which is why we raise our kids to talk about these things and to understand consent and their bodies. And that is so important because so many times abuse happens so much younger than when we think they're supposed to start having sex.
Yeah.
And yet I remember just being blown away when I was 10, 11 years old and my friends started talking about sex. And I was like, y'all don't know what this is?
Right.
It didn't make sense to me. I thought, because you only know what you know.
Yeah.
And so when you've been raised in things, it's different. I think what really gets me is I chose to become an evangelical Christian as an adult. And it was because I was seeking answers, seeking solutions. And I wanted hope. I wanted change. I wanted something different for my life. I wanted freedom. And so the church offered that. Yeah. And I didn't realize what was behind the curtain, under the blankets, between the sheets, however you want to say it. And that journey from being an evangelical to being a non-denominational to being a Jesus believer to then leaving the church and then deconverting because of, some very real questions.
Yeah.
That pain and the isolation is something that blown.
Wow, we blinked out for a second there. We're still there. Awesome.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it seems like back in the 90s and the 80s growing up, it was like people just didn't have any of these ideas. And maybe it was the internet, and you can maybe speak to that better because you're just a few years older. Right. It was that people just didn't seem to have many perspectives around like what they can and can't talk about. And so now we're finding out that, well, we already know that the church or religion makes up most of the population in the US.
Right.
So like when we start to talk about it, we start to see that, wow, if it's happening in the church, it's really the majority of where it's happening is in the church.
Right.
And that's what's fascinating.
It. Hold on. Ding, 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 ding.
Right?
You just hit the nail on the head, because I started over the last few weeks. I was like, okay, I've worked with thousands of all types of survivors over the decades. And I was like, what is the common thread? Like, what are the common things? And every single, damn near every single person hit on some kind of spiritual religious abuse that perpetuated the pain.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is the common thread. And there's so much denial and shame paired with, you can have freedom, you can have joy, you can have forgiveness, that I think in culture, people kind of, it's just like Trump in a lot of ways. It's like you can forget all the bad stuff if they do stuff that's good enough. And
if they help you feel better about yourself, or,
right.
You know,
and it's
protect
just
like maybe one or two of your rights a little bit, just a little
right,
bit.
right. It's a crazy system, but I just want to say that there's hope.
Yeah.
That you really can, like what we've gone through yesterday. You know what? Yesterday was one of the biggest breakthroughs that we've had in our family, where we all just came together and really healed.
Yeah.
And really spent time.
Really expressed the deep, deep pains of me not providing for my family. And it's one thing to just like not provide. It's another thing to like really not provide. And I was doing a terrible job for years and years. And I realized that there's a lot of pain that comes from just being separated from what you knew was everything to you. And so my heart goes out to you, because like, as we're pouring into each other in that moment, I realized that there's isolation that happens in our hearts and in our minds that we're not aware of. And it was taking me down, and it was keeping me from just being happy. It's like, I'm generally happy, but there's some unresolved things that are just like, they can just be so small, but if they have to do with being wanted, loved, accepted, not instead of rejected, like they're powerful and they affect everything we do. And
right, that's why I keep going to Life is Mushy.
Yes.
It is, because it really is like the things that one thing affects the other thing. And it's like, if you're having money blocks, then it's probably rooted in your deep beliefs. Your deep beliefs are based on your sexuality and spirituality and your role within the world. And so it all is combined, but it really is, spirituality and sexuality are like the deep roots, the things that existed before you did. And those beliefs are the things that really impact everything else. And we did something really,
I'll keep going.
We did something really interesting. So I knew that our marriage had problems, and I knew that we were struggling, and I wanted better, and I believed in better for both of us. And so over the last year and a half, I have been just kind of pushing the benchmark back of what I'm willing to tolerate. And it got to this point where I just quit. I was like, I can't bail Reed out of the financial situations anymore. And so I literally stopped selling, like intentionally. I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I had this huge breakthrough. Hi, Melinda. I just love you. Yes. No more family secrets.
No more.
But I was like, I'm not going to sell anymore. And you have one job, and it's to sell and make the money. And then it has been wild and brutal and difficult, because I know I've seen you sell to people who have nothing. Like, I've seen you're excellent at sales. It was an emotional block.
Yeah.
And as I just kept standing firm, because to me, that line between codependence and interdependence is really a small line. And I was like, what is my role in this? How do I make the change without forcing you to change? And it was simply just, this is your job.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go do this. And
It's like separating out
right, the roles and the realities.
Mhm.
And I'll be damned. Like, I didn't know how to help someone overcome denial and like self-loathing.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't know, like, how do you help someone that you love more than anything in the world?
Yeah.
It's always hardest to help your family, to help the ones that you love, the ones that you're closest to. And so I practiced what I preach. I just started pushing back my line. And I've seen Reed change so much over the last 3 months have been incredible. And I just want to say I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for doing the work and for not giving up and for continuing to push forward even when it's hard, and for continuing to believe in yourself.
Thank you.
And to believe in humanity even when it's so ugly. And I'm thankful to myself for standing up for what I want and what I need.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of me for just not taking the bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
And just saying no more, but then doing it with kindness.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of us, because it has been scary. Like, it's really awful when you're looking at your whole marriage and you're like, on 98 points, I adore you. And there's these 2 points that are detrimental to everything, because if you don't have money, you don't have like anything. Like, you're homeless, you're hungry, you're like, you don't have your
what you want,
basics.
and you get miserable.
And so that I'm so glad that you are fully tackling and living and doing that last 2% that makes all the difference. And
Thank you.
I believe in you. And yeah, there's been lots of wobble in our business.
Yeah.
There has been lots of wobble in what we're doing and what we're teaching. It's because not in what we're teaching, but in what we're doing and how we're marketing it and how we're selling
about
it.
Yeah.
Because it's the same principles everywhere.
Yeah.
But what you're seeing is growth.
Yeah.
What you're seeing is healing. What you're seeing is true change.
And trust.
And trust
True
being
trust.
right. A marriage that was a family that was so on the rocks, like losing everything 3 times in 3 years. We went through so much. And yet we just kept sticking it out.
That's what blew me away last night.
Oh,
Is that every one of our kids, we have 4 at home and we have 1 away, and
she's adulting.
She's not away, she's in the US.
Right.
And she's adulting, but they all, it's like, as a man, we're not taught, at least, and it could be, you know, some of what I went through in my childhood, but I wasn't taught to be vulnerable with my parents. In fact, they kind of scared me, so I was vulnerable with other people. And I wanted to be vulnerable with my kids, and I have in the past. And it was like all of this pain was representative of just being like completely ditched by the church, completely disowned by my mentor, who was just so dear to me, who just brought me, basically like made me solid in my faith, helped me in my relationship, provided this system, and then the system betrayed. And in that moment, it was really difficult. And I realized that when you're vulnerable with your kids, it allows them in your toughest times, when you just don't think that you're worth it or you have any kind of control, they'll just come in. I mean, when they get to be teenagers, like they're doing some adulting, like we taught them to just be responsible. And so when they come in and they just give support, I didn't know how to receive that like fully until last night. And I am so grateful that I have the incredible family that I have.
And the
It's just-
wisdom, oh my goodness,
what
our
Zoe said.
15-year-old and 13-year-olds, like they just
Yeah.
dropped major wisdom bombs, because part of what we do is life school. So they understand business, they understand coaching, they understand all of these things,
Yeah.
and they get it. And they were just like, this is what you're missing. This is why it's not working. And they just came around you with like actual business coaching, which was hysterical and yet so awesome.
I respect them. I respect
Right,
them
because
so
it was
much.
on point.
Yes.
And I was just like, yeah, that they have been listening and absorbing, but they don't have the same hiccups that we have because of the pain that we've experienced.
Yes.
Oh, Melinda, thank you.
We've taught them a different perspective, and
We've tried so hard. Hold on. You know what?
Yeah.
Showing up, being there, being honest with your kids is like 90% of it.
Yeah.
Just showing up, listening, and building those relationships.
Yeah.
And that is the highest honor. Thank you so much, Melinda. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Melinda. I really appreciate you. You're an incredible friend.
Yeah.
Zoe said something that struck me in just an amazing way. And it was just basic advice. And it was, Dad, I see you trying so hard, and I see you working really hard. She's like, you don't have to work that hard. She's like, I just want to see you smile every time you're on the phone talking to people, because they just need your happiness. And your smile will change everything, and you will make all the sales you need if you just smile. And I didn't know how to take it, because I'd never received something like that from my 13-year-old daughter. And so I was like, I was starting to smile, and she goes, promise me that you will smile every time you're on the phone talking to anyone. And she's like, especially when you were selling someone to help them. And I said, I promise that I will smile every time I'm on the phone talking to someone. And it's just a choice. It's just a choice. But when she said it, it was just like, that is so powerful, coming from someone who just wants the world for everyone around her and for herself. She's just so, she's so down to earth, but she's very optimistic, and she believes in a different world. And I've taught her that. And it's just, when it comes back to you, it is the most powerful thing. It's incredible to be able to pour into people's lives, including my family's lives, and return, and get so much in return.
Right. And just their responses, because they're like, you guys, you really help people, because all of our kids are online. And so they understand kind of what's going on in the world, and they understand family problems, because they have friends online where their parents are going through divorces, and the kids are like hiding, and all of these other crazy things that their friends are experiencing. And they're like, you guys help people so much. This shouldn't even be hard. They're like, the way you do is so amazing. And their thing that they've been saying over and over is, we just need more people like us. Go help more people, so there's more people like us. And it's just like nothing like your children to like speak the truth. We have some great, Amanda, good morning. Yes, I know. You are an amazing mama too.
Yes, you are.
Absolutely. Sending so many positive vibes. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Melinda, yes, kids are very caring, intuitive, and smart.
Wonderful. You'll include them as part of your family instead of treating them as mere children.
Right. They're brilliant. You know what, kids, if you can, like, we've done our best to protect them from the crazy abuses of the world. Like always something gets through.
Yeah.
But and then sometimes it's us. Like, I was rageful in the beginning of my marriage, and
I was in complete denial about most things. So yeah.
Right. So it's like this learning process that you have to bring them on the journey. But they don't have the same issues that we have. And so a lot of times their wisdom is so much more profound, because they don't have those messed up things in their head that cause you to hiccup. And so I've learned more. My kids have hands down been the best coach that I have ever paid for. And I pay for it, but
you pay for it, right?
well, they do all of the trainings and all of the entrepreneurship, and they do all of that type of stuff with us.
Mhm.
So because they do it, their mindsets are different and they're free in different ways. But
They don't even struggle helping certain people. Like I had some recent moments of helping people where it was just so intense, and it was like I just wanted to like either jump through the screen and strangle them, or I wanted to just like go barf. And there's situations where it's like it's really difficult to handle, but they seem to hear anything traumatic and have this perspective of it's just there's people who are hurting people, there's people who aren't hurting people. Like they have so much perspective and understanding of the world around them that they're just like they can easily coach themselves into knowing that that's just one situation.
Mhm.
And when they like when they look at the news and they see really traumatic stuff, they treat it the same way.
Right.
And
Yeah,
really
because they
can't.
come to us.
Yeah.
They come to us with my friends having this problem. How do I handle it?
Yeah.
And we just talk through it. Yeah, our kids are totally our coaches. Because if they're learning the same knowledge that we're learning, then that group discussion, this is why groups have always been so powerful, and why Reed is doing this small group for spiritual and sexual abuse. Like you phrase it better, because it's your thing. And that's what made this so powerful, is that we were trying to do things together, and together wasn't working as well as you be you and me be me. And as we did that, it was just like, okay, you do your passion, and I'll finally get a chance to write the curriculum.
And
Right.
They just started falling into place.
And but we were trying too hard to be one unit instead of being all that we are and playing into our strengths.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to plug your thing because
Thanks,
it's
Jess.
going to be epic. And
It's going to be very epic.
I'm just really excited about the small group, because whenever you do small groups, it is mind-blowing, life-changing, earth-bending, and the results are for everyone there.
Yeah.
And that is super powerful.
Thank you.
You just needed a good curriculum, and I got your back.
Yes. And I'm excited because it's the same tools that we were using like years and years ago that worked so well. Doing it online is going to be different, but I don't think there's going to be any problem. This is how we've been serving our clients for months.
Right.
We did like 162 live shows on Facebook after a hurricane.
Right.
So,
from a tent. Like we've done over 500 live shows.
So
and we're adding to it.
We're pretty techy when it comes to the internet, so this is going to be so much fun.
Okay, I love you.
I want to be here.
The key is never growing up. That's the key. Just keep living and learning, and just I want to be interdependent. I want to be together. I want what I want, and I didn't want to start over. I want and do believe in you, and I want and do believe in me, and I want and do believe in humanity,
because we're badasses,
and we're
cool people,
and it's fun. Damn it!
Yeah. Why does healing have to be boring, right? Like, why can't we just have fun doing diving deep into our trauma?
Right. Well, it creates such freedom and such hope, and it
requires support. It requires humans. And I know that as we gather our people, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
As we gather our people, we'll meet in real life.
Right.
We'll meet at the beach in California. We'll meet at a house somewhere like in Vegas. We'll be in the woods. We'll be somewhere. We'll be meeting, and we'll begin to create like this incredible society of kindness. And I can't wait.
It's so fun. As I've been posting more and more like Church 2 type spiritual abuse, sex work. Yeah, I'm a funny intersection of a whole lot of sensational things, and it's really fun. And okay, where if you've made it this far, you get to hear what I'm working on.
Yeah.
So this is where I'm really excited, because so what I've been doing is just letting Reed do his thing and be the provider and be the person who breaks those cycles. So I've been letting him do that, and I've been working on things behind the scenes like this curriculum, and then I've just been, sharing my heart and stuff like that. But I've been working on the curriculum, but I was like, what has broken free in me over the last few months is that I have this thing that I do so naturally, and it's the business turnaround stuff. And I didn't really see it because I've only had major success with businesses that are generating a couple to a few $1 million a year in gross revenue. And so you have to have a large enough business for me to actually go in and fix it, because when it's too small of a business, there's typically not enough revenue or there's not enough stability.
And there's just not enough for Jess to fix.
Right.
Jess requires lots to fix.
I am a crisis person. When things are on fire, that's when I love to fix things. Yeah. And so I was like, I want this. And so it's really about like reputation management, automated leadership, and customer retention. And I was just laughing hysterically because it's the intersection of like, who can do reputation management better than a whore? And I'm like that. There's this whole really fun, insane branding that's going around it.
We're behind you the whole time.
Right. Services you can get behind.
Oh, that's it. Yes.
And so
that makes more sense.
I am having so much fun with just building out this business, the marketing, because that's the key to it. But I've had this deep love for this divorce attorney for a long time. Like, he is the funniest divorce attorney. Like, he just is real and raw and hysterical, and it's all memes. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I want to do, but a little bit different. So here's what I'm saying. I need all your memes. Flood my inbox with your awesome memes around all the edgy subjects. You guys
business
know my
and
topics.
hoe jokes. Like, how do they go?
Yeah, I need all your business and whore jokes, please. Yeah. And
all
also church and whore jokes. Yeah.
Yep.
Reputation management. And yes, a society of kindness. And it's just what I love to do. And I love doing the one-on-one, and we'll always do some of that, like with the trauma work, with everything. Like, it's just really, when shit's burning down, I fix things. But it's like so many times people aren't willing to fix it until the shit's burning down. Mm-hmm. And so when it's burning down, then you can really make changes.
Do you want to reveal the name that you're playing with, or do you want to not give it away so somebody doesn't steal it?
Oh.
before you grab it.
Okay, so the name of the consulting company, because I had a consulting agency that I love. Nobody's going to use it. The name of the consulting agency that I had before was just my name, Jess Richardson Consulting. And I was like, that's so boring. And I was like, because I'm wanting to remove my face a little bit from the brand, I'm calling it Burnt Consulting. You know, when you're burnt out and your life is going down in flames. And so
it's very millennial-like. You're just burnt.
Right, just burnt.
Just burnt.
And so I'm like,
kind of Texas-like, so you get the best of both worlds.
Right. I'm just having a great time. These flies today.
Right, I don't even know.
They keep attacking my legs. They're irritating.
Sprayed the patio, and I think that made them arrive. They're like, water.
Right.
We must breed.
So I'm excited. Be ready, because I'm going to start the crafting of memes, and
I'm thrilled.
And I get all the hoe jokes. Do you know how fun it is to have hoe jokes? Like,
I don't have any hoe jokes.
I know you married one. You should
have sexual assault jokes, and people don't take those very well. So.
I think we just have to get crafty on our memes. Our kids were helping us with this so much. It was so hysterical last night, because they were just like, I mean, obviously our kids know, but they're pretty good with hoe jokes too.
If y'all know how to, I mean, hoe jokes, there's a few of those out there, but
positive hoe jokes, You know how many negative memes there are about who's just a whore and a slut? Oh my God, it makes me nuts.
Right. So
And I need the-
derogatory, so rude, so condescending.
Right.
Condescending
Just
isn't
abusive,
funny.
straight up abusive.
Yeah, straight up.
Right.
Yeah, so and if you know any like sexual assault jokes that are actually funny and honor people, I'm not even quite sure how to go about that. Like I allude to joking about it, and I don't even joke about it very well. So
the amazing memes
like,
are out there. I know they are. And
Yes.
that's it. So I am just excited because joy is a choice.
Yes.
And I have been consistently choosing it for 20 years. And I have to say it gets easier, even though there were really dark times.
Yeah.
And even those recent dark times, I still chose to believe, even if I couldn't choose joy that day or that
Right.
moment, I still chose to believe.
Yeah.
And then I would do the self-care. And so that keeping your mind in check while your heart is healing, while you continue to march forward, it's that wobble. And you're worth it. And you're worth that wobble. And
Yes.
so I hope you join Reed's group. And I hope you just join me on this adventure of sharing memes, because I know that my business isn't for everyone, but my jokes are. So
Yes, please join my group if you're in this situation where you need to be healed from spiritual abuse and really just want to
which is like everyone at this point.
I
Quite
know.
frankly, with the Trump shit that's going on.
I know everybody's
like,
being traumatized. Like
I actually
let's just admit
answered
it. We're
a
traumatized
question.
by all of this.
Right. Yeah. Oh, it's real. And I answered a question on Twitter yesterday, and it was like, are evangelicals the new fundamentalists? And I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy going on in the world. There's a lot
Yeah.
of not listening and a lot of yelling, and we really just have to get to the bottom of shit.
Absolutely.
And that's fun because you get more jokes.
Right. I also just want to say one last thing. Like, if you are a Christian, Mormon, Catholic, I could go on with religions. If you are that person, I love you. I'm not trying to tear apart your spirituality, because I believe that we all need to believe deep inside of us that what we're doing is right. And we need that grounding in our life. And we need to know that our belief is so important that we would die for it and that we would live for it every single day with joy. So I just want you to know that I love you where you are, and I don't mean to hurt you, but there's a lot of people who have been hurt by spiritual sexual abuse, and I want to be that safe space. I have been, and we're doing it online, and I want you to join me. And humans are awesome.
And so are you.
Yes.
We love you guys, and we will see you, well, I'm sure sometime this weekend, but just look at it. We'll be back Monday morning at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And we love you guys.
See you next time, guys.
Bye.